Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
And how are you?
I'm distressed. My wonderful husband, the light of my life, sunshine angel, made me dinner tonight. And I don't want to complain because he went to the grocery store and made dinner and did all the stuff because I worked both jobs today. This podcast being one of the jobs. But the chicken that he made, he seasoned it. And I am not sure if he accidentally put an entire
Like,
bottle of black pepper on my chicken or not, or if he decided somehow that it wasn't going to be flavorful enough and threw some chili powder on there. Based on the color of it, that one is likely.
that one's likely.
I am distressed. But the only thing I have to drink up here is Dr. Pepper, which does nothing for the fact that my tongue is currently made of jalapeno.
You need
So
like a milk.
I do I have nice farm dairy milk downstairs.
Yeah.
So when we're done recording, I will chug a gallon of milk. But
I mean,
between now,
hopefully you recover before
yeah,
then.
I hope. Um, but yeah, so that was not what I was gonna share as my story on the podcast today, but then I almost died trying to eat dinner. Um, what I was going to share was that today I decided I wish I had like a real office job where people fake going to work.
Mhm.
Um, because I got to work at 9:30. I, to be fair, spent the first like 2 hours. I was chatting, but I was actually doing work. Like I put all my grades in, I did all my report card comments, I did some stuff on the computer. And then I did literally nothing else for the rest of the day. I just hung out at my desk and talked to people from like 11:30 to 1:30, and then I went on a Starbucks run at 1:30, and then I got back to work at like 2:15, and then I left work at 3.
You
I
didn't read
did
any books?
no, because we were all doing nothing. So like it
Oh,
was like a social doing nothing.
yeah. I don't like a social doing nothing.
Oh, I do.
It's
I
too
mean,
much.
if I did that every day, I couldn't. Like, I couldn't socialize that much. But like on a Monday, just like hanging with the girls, drinking my Trenta blue raspberry summer refresher from Starbucks with cold foam, chit chatting about Paris. I was living the dream.
See, I'm just tired, I think. Like I'm fine with a social nothing out of work. But at work I'm
Mm.
like, I'm tired. I don't want to be here. You don't really want to be here. Let me listen to my podcast and let
Yeah,
me get
but
my life in order.
yeah, but when you don't have to come in till 2 hours later than you're normally awake.
I mean, that's me. I mean, well, I come in like
No, no,
4 hours after I wake up.
no. Yeah, but you are in a panic spiral the entire time you're awake.
Yeah. Yeah. Every
If you
day.
if you were
Like I
well
was up at 5:30 this morning. I went to work at 10:30.
if you were well rested and caffeinated and not also studying for the bar and liked your coworkers, you might also like a social doing nothing.
I do like my coworkers, and we've gotten past a lot of our bumps in the road. I think they just have accepted me as I am. Um, we get along well now. I went to a show with one of them, um, and everything's fine now.
I'm in charge of my office, what people wear whenever they have an event. They send me pictures of like, should I buy this outfit? I'm in charge of everyone.
I
So
love
I'm
that.
doing all their shopping for them, telling them what to wear.
Amazing.
I'm also in charge of their schedules for them because we were talking about something we had to do at work tomorrow. And Chrissy was like, I'm gonna do that first thing in the morning. I was like, yeah, but no, you're not. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you won't be here in the morning. She goes, no, I'll be here. Oh no, I guess I won't. And I go, because, and at the exact same time, we said, because Teddy's appointment is at 8 o'clock. And Kate just started laughing. She goes, that's the real reason we hired you, because you're in charge of our lives and we don't know what's going on. You were for everything. It's like,
I
yeah.
do that to Rachel.
Like, yeah, no, you're not gonna. I was like, I'm not gonna get here till 10. And you are probably also not gonna get here till 10 because you have to go to Teddy's doctor's appointment at 8. And she goes, huh, you're right, I do. I was like, so then at 10, then we can go sort the books in the classroom. But from 7:30 to 10, Kate's gonna have to work on something else because neither of us are gonna be here.
She can read a book.
Yeah. She stayed up till 2:30 in the morning last night to read Crescent City, and so she was not a functioning person in our day.
I was up until 2:30 this morning. I couldn't tell you. Oh, I worked until 1:45. So then I was up until 2:30. Yes.
I don't know if
That
you
was
saw on Goodreads though, but I finished the second Crescent City book and the first Last Kingdom book this weekend.
I did. I sometimes I'm a little bit of a creep on like Goodreads. I like every couple of days or every few days, I like go to your profile and Zach's profile, and sometimes Sarah that I used to work with, and sometimes Adrian, who was in the new book club I did with Zach, just to kind of see what's what. And so I did. I went on your profile. That's what I did yesterday morning at 5:30. When I woke up, was it yesterday or this morning? Who's to say? I woke up in the middle of the night one day, and it was between 4 and 5. And I was on just on Goodreads.
I did make a Fable account so you could get your money, but I don't know how to use it, so
Did I get my money? How do I know?
I don't know either.
I don't know either, but I love Fable.
I just don't know how to use it, and I didn't download the app because I was about to get a new phone, and then like I got confused.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll try. Go click on my link and download the app another day. You don't have to do it like the second. Let's see if I have any credits. I don't even know how to know why. Just check my phone.
Don't worry, my tongue's no longer on fire because I ate the couscous.
Oh, amazing. He just wanted to balance it out for you.
Perfect.
Um, let's see. I refer to friends and manage credits. I have 0 available credits, so you have not done it correctly yet.
No, but I clicked on your link and made a profile.
But did you? I don't know.
Look.
I don't know. Here, let's try again. I'll send you the link again.
No, but look.
Did it say my name on it?
Yeah.
What did I have to do?
I don't know.
Have a friend use this link to your profile to invite them to join, and you'll each get a $5 credit to use on an ebook.
That's what I got a thing that told me that I was gonna
Did you
get
get $5?
No, but I got it when I signed up. Um, it said you get 5. It said login.
I don't
It
understand.
said when you click this link, you'll get $5 credit, and then
And you did it?
yeah.
Oh, I don't understand. Hmm. Maybe it like takes a minute to process. This is like a really new app. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm in like 6 book clubs on it. Um, and some of them they're like, if you invite a friend to this book club, you get a $5 credit, and it's kind of fun because you can do read interactive books. So I won a book on there, The Tribe of Secret, which I just finished over the weekend,
Oh,
and
you know what? It's because I made the profile, but I didn't download the app.
oh, you got to move the
I
app.
have to download the app.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we get mine. So they do a lot of like giveaways, and by a lot, they do like 3 a week. So it's not like a ton. But I signed up for it and I won the Tribe Life Secret. And when you read the interactive books of the books you get on there, you can read them with everyone in the club. And so you can see other people's highlights and if they have comments that they've made throughout the book. And it's kind of fun. I kind of dig it. Um, I'll probably never buy a book on there unless when I have a credit or but I sign up for the ebooks that I would be interested in, like the giveaways I'm interested in.
Mm.
And those they obviously they give you the book on there, so it's easy to access. Um, I think I was going to talk about books this episode. As you mentioned, I'm in a constant panic spiral.
Yeah.
I've just made a latte, and it is 9:22 p.m. Because I am exhausted and I have a lot to do today. So here we are. But I did finish 3 books this weekend, but it was like I was like 85% of the way on all of it. One, like I said, I've read books.
Yeah.
The dream. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, the two
And
that I
so
finished, the two that I finished, one I was at 92%, and the other one I was
yeah,
at 83%. So like,
right. So I finished The Chatterbox Secret, which was the one I won on Fable. I really liked it. I think I gave it like 3.75 stars. Like, it's fine. It wasn't like my favorite thriller, but I enjoyed it. I finished The Golden Couple, which I did love. It was the Sarah Paquin and Greer Hendricks book, and I just love all of their books. So, highly recommend that one. And I finished Flirting Lessons, which was my rainbow read, and I really liked it. It was just like a fun summer romance. I
Mhm.
mean, it wasn't groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Um, but it was fun. So now I'm only missing one bookmark on Goodreads, which is my heritage reads, and I'm reading The Ministry of Time,
Mm.
I think is what it's called. It's our book for Zach's book club, and that's next Monday. So I have a week to read it, and I've read like 20 pages or something. Um, so I'll read that
No,
this week.
I'm still missing the same three bookmarks I was last time we talked about it because I haven't finished Fourth Wing. And when I finish Fourth Wing, that'll be one of the three.
Oh,
But
right. Yeah.
um
Yeah, I think I'm only missing one on my Kindle challenge.
I don't know how to sign up for the Kindle challenges. I don't know how to use my Kindle. I just read.
It's on the app. You have to have the app, I think, for the Kindle
Oh,
challenges to access it.
oh, I don't have
Um,
that.
so I'm missing Gold Reader, which is you read 75 days during the period, but I'm 4 days away and there's 7 days left, so I'll finish that. Oh, and Perfect Month. I haven't read every day for a month yet, but this is my month. This is my
Mm.
month. I'm so close. Um,
I don't think I've read anything today.
I haven't either, but I'm reading. I just got so if you recall, I got the ARC for The Cage, which was the AG Twist book, the Cameron
Mhm.
Chase book.
Yes.
He's got another book releasing this week. I think it actually releases tomorrow. I'm supposed to review it sometime this week. And so it's called Hush Pretty, I can't see, Hush Pretty Baby. So I started that one last night. Um, and I'm like 10% of the way in. And so that's what I'm reading on my Kindle app. Because you have to read it on the Kindle, so either on your Kindle or on your Kindle app to get your credits for it. Like, it can't be
Mm.
one you've just like, I read that. Like on Goodreads, I can be like, I've read this book this month. Like,
Yeah.
there's your bookmark. But you have it like it has to be able to track you for the Kindle challenge.
Which I
Um,
guess, I mean, it makes sense. It's a little
right.
intrusive, but
I mean, and it's not like I don't read like a Kindle book every month, so I can just make sure whatever book I have on Kindle, I read at least like 10 minutes or so a day. So it's not that big of a deal. Um, But yeah, so I love reading. I hate everything else. I just turned away from the microphone, so I do hope that it's still picked.
oh yeah.
I
Yeah, no.
just realized that. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm just kind of like hanging in there and hoping for the best at the moment. I hooked up my Xbox in my library. Now all I want to do is play my Xbox, and I don't have time. So
Hmm.
that's a real bummer. I am less than a month away from the bar, which is also a real bummer. Um, they sent us an email on Saturday and they were like, 1 month away to the bar. And I was like, that is not what I wanted you to tell me today. But thank you, I guess. Um,
13 days away from my trip.
See, that's much more exciting. That is
Yeah.
much more pleasant. Um, but yeah, it's fine. I've been having a lot of creative thoughts, and podcast networky thoughts and all kinds of ideas and brainstorming. And I'm so ready to be done with the bar, and I'm so ready to dive back into my novel. Like, I just
Yeah.
so any day now. I just gotta hang in there. Hang in there. Oh my gosh, literally hang in there, Jude. What is it? Is it Jude?
Joan?
Joan, hang in there, Joan. Jesus, I know. This is the problem with life right now. This is me every day, all day. Um, Poor Joe asked me how my weekend was, and I was like, it was terrible. He was like, oh, it was like, I mean, it was fine. My mom was in, but my fridge went out, and then went to that whole saga that I talked about already. And he's like, oh, but he didn't have a good weekend either, so it's fine. Um,
Did anyone have a good weekend?
um, Ezra did because he got to see me.
Well, yeah, but babies don't have to think about impending doom.
I don't know, he had a rough weekend too. He'd been around a lot of people, so he probably had a rough weekend. Sadie had a great weekend. She had sourdough bread and street corn dip, so
Yup, she sure
and
did.
didn't get sick, so she's thriving.
Wild. I lost my pencil.
I was wondering when you were like just flashing your chest.
I can't. How am I supposed to write notes about what I want to call this episode?
I don't know. Did you throw it on the floor?
I found a different pencil. It's fine. I don't know what's happened.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Oh, you gotta give me some inspiration.
I do.
Make things better.
My college campus has a magic statue. It's a long-standing tradition for students to rub its nose for good luck. My freshman roommate really believed in the statue's power and insisted on visiting it to rub its nose before every exam. Studying might have been a better idea. She flunked out her sophomore year. But the fact is, we all have little superstitious things that we do. If it's not believing in magic statues, it's avoiding sidewalk cracks or always putting on our left shoe first. Knock on wood, step on a crack, break your mother's back. The last thing we want to do is offend the gods.
I love that. We had a statue at our college that was a bulldog, and you rubbed its head before
Oh,
all the things. That's lovely. That actually made me happy.
good.
Um, I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised. Brought me joy from Grey's Anatomy. Um, well, today we are talking about the wrap up to our show Clarice. I was telling everyone last week I'm gonna have to get the DVD for every show we do from now on because I have the most in-depth notes I've ever had in my whole life, I think. Um, and they just kind of all came naturally, which was dope. That was very convenient for me. Um, but I'm gonna start with some production notes and some ratings before going into a little bit more specifics on the show
Okay.
and fun facts. So to start with, we obviously we've talked about the show a lot. We have a
Yeah.
lot of feelings. Um, do you have anything that you want to say that you haven't said before we kind of break it down?
Um, I have one thing that I want to talk about, but you specifically said that to
Yes,
wait to ask you about
me too.
that. Um, I don't know. I just think that the show was trying really hard to tell me what to think, and I
Mm,
didn't like it, and that is really all I can focus on.
yeah. That is true, and that is one of the things they kind of talked about in the special credits. Those are those are the words
Yeah.
I've chosen for that. Um, well, as we all know, this was a show that premiered on CBS. And one of the biggest issues with the whole setup is that it came out in February 2021 in the dead center of COVID, and they then tried to shift it over to Paramount to account for their new lineup at CBS. And so the show itself was produced by CBS Studios, MGM TV, and Secret Hideout. Now, MGM and CBS have their own issues.
Yeah.
Um, this show got greenlit really fast. They didn't even have a pilot. It got greenlit before the pilot. Um, because of COVID, because they discussed it May 2020, and they were like, we don't know when TV's coming back. It's a show about Clarice. It's a spinoff of Hannibal. We're gonna greenlight it. And Alex Kurtman, who's one of the writers and one of the like producers, he was a big factor in that because they got MGM to agree to let them use Clarice, and they already had the rights to Thomas Harris books, aside from the Hannibal characters, the ones that are owned by NBC.
Yeah.
But they greenlit the show without a pilot. Alex Kurtzman owns Secret Hideout. That is his company. And he created that company because he wanted to basically make spin-offs of shows. He is a the way he talked about it on the show is that on the special scenes is that he's a big horror fan. He loves Hannibal. He loves to take these smaller characters and turn them into something more. And then you look at Secret Hideout. And it started in 2017, and that's where we got the Mummy remake that no one cared about.
Yeah.
And then
But
basically,
also, that's not a small character.
right. And then basically all of Star Trek we've had from 2017 to now is also part of that. So like Picard, Discovery, all of that is a part of, like, he's
Is
been a big
is
part of
is
that.
Strange? Does he make Strange New Worlds?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
which
Um,
Strange New Worlds is the best Star Trek. So
so I think that he really went on Star Trek and just kind of copped out everything else. He is also the one, so Secret Hideout is also the one making the upcoming Now You See Me movie. And I'm so pissed. I didn't know that until today because I love the Now You See Me. They're some
okay,
of my
the Now
favorite.
You See Me movies are great, and I don't know if you've seen the theatrical trailer for the new Now You See Me movie.
I
Because
haven't.
when what did Jan and I go to the movies to see the other day? Oh, when we went to see the Thunderdome.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
what the fuck movie was that?
No, I'm not the one today.
Thunderbirds? No,
Yes,
Thunder
yes. I think so. That sounds right.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah. The Now You See Me, they did the full theatrical trailer, and that it
Interesting.
looks good.
So I've been hearing good things about the cast they have, about people behind it. And so I've been really stoked about it because I just love those movies.
Yeah.
And then I read today that it's part of the Secret Hideout stuff. It's the newest upcoming film for him. And now I'm a little now I'm depressed.
Yeah, but it looks good.
God, I hope so. I also have
Well,
a
and like I
screenshot on
said,
my phone for reading.
Strange New Worlds is the best
Yeah.
of the Star Treks.
And I
Like,
have heard that. And I mean people like Picard too. Like,
yeah, I liked Picard too.
Um, so he did Salvation. So the Mummy was first. Then he did Salvation, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Short Tracks, Instinct, Picard, Lower Decks, The Comey Role. I
Oh,
don't know what that
Lower
is.
Decks is also
I heard
phenomenal.
it was really good. Clarice, Prodigy, The Man Who Fell to Earth, which I haven't seen but I have heard of. Strange New Worlds, and then he's doing two films this year, and it's Star Trek Section 31, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Section 31 was not good.
See, ah,
Yeah, Section 31 was not good.
I'm gonna be so pissed if this movie comes out and it sucks. I'm gonna be so pissed. Anyways, so I just need to get a little Secret Hideout. So that is the production team behind this. We
Okay.
have two major cable networks because it's MGM TV. So two major networks that are basically at odds, and this Secret Hideout that is Alex Kirkman's
Private.
solo
Yeah.
project. Like, yeah. Um, it was the show everywhere seems to be noted as a horror crime drama, which doesn't feel
Horror is only allowed to be attached to it because it's related to the Silence of the Lambs, like,
right.
franchise. Like, that's
Fair.
the Thomas Harris franchise. This show is not a horror show, truly.
But I also don't know that I'm calling it a crime drama. It's a police procedural. It's
Yeah.
not like it could be horror police procedural. That's a thing.
I would say that I would lean more toward crime drama than horror.
Sure, sure.
And I would say that I will give it crime drama because, like we talked about last week, the first half of the season is a police procedural, and then it attempts to do a single story for the whole rest of the show. And
Right.
it does become a crime drama, a bad one.
Yeah.
But so I will give it crime drama,
Mhm.
albeit
Loosely.
like loosely and
Yeah.
grudgingly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I won't
Fair.
give it horror because
It's only got the horror title because I gamble. That's
yeah.
it. That is literally the extent. Um, so it was canceled because CBS and Paramount. So when CBS sent it to Paramount Plus, the Paramount Plus team had negotiation issues with MGM. And this show has never officially been canceled. This show is not canceled currently. It was
It's still
just
in negotiation.
it's still in negotiation because they were like, well, what if we just send it back to CBS? If you can't agree with us, we'll send it back to CBS. But the problem was CBS already had their next lineup and they were like, we don't have anything to bump. I'm sure they did. but they're like, we don't have anything to bump, so we can't do that. So as of now, it's still not officially canceled.
Okay, so they didn't have, so that would have been for the 2022-2023 season. Sure. Like that they didn't
Yeah.
have anything. But
Mhm.
so that means that 23-24 and 24-25 have happened since then.
Mhm.
Um,
So I have some news on that that we will get to in a bit.
okay,
There's another reason now that didn't happen after the
okay,
22
because I was gonna
season.
say, because like, they told me that they didn't have anything. But in 2023, CBS launched like 7 new shows.
Yeah.
Not
CBS
a n-
had a big push off,
fall
and then
fall 2023, they had
uh-huh.
9 new shows.
Yeah, well they had all the reboots. They had Matlock, they had Elspeth,
No,
they
but
had
that's this year. I mean, they had Elsbeth. Matlock was this year,
what year are we
2024.
in? Oh,
We're
that's
in,
24. I know
yeah,
what year it
but
is.
no, but Fire Country, East New York, So Help Me Todd, Buddy Games,
Ooh,
Lateria Loca, Raid the Cage Tracker, Papa's House, and Elsbeth all premiered in 2023.
yeah.
To be fair, I
Those
don't
and they're
think
all still running.
are all of
But I don't know
those.
about So Help Todd. I don't know about So Help Me
No,
Todd.
I know. So Help
I
Me
think
Todd. So Help Me Todd was at least this season. I don't know if it
it
got
had two
canceled.
seasons. I don't know if it had more
I
after
don't know if
that
it got
though.
picked up for 2025. But so Help Me Todd was still running this season. Fire Country is still running. Elsbeth
Tracker's
is
still
still
running.
running. Tracker is still running. I
Papa's House is still running.
Papa's House is still running. I don't know about Buddy Games. I don't think that that did well.
I don't think
It was a
that did
reality
anything
competition. I don't think
yet.
it did anything. Loteria Loca, I think is still on.
I think so. I don't know a lot about
I mean, it's a Mexican bingo
it.
competition show,
Yeah,
which was just something I wasn't gonna watch, but it
right.
seemed like it did well with people that would be interested in it. And then I don't think Raid the Cage lasted. I think that one was not good
I don't know
either.
anything about that one.
It was another game show, but it was like people were in a box and
Mhm.
had to like take prizes, like raid the cage prizes.
Sure,
It was not great.
sure. Mhm. Yeah,
But
sounds like it.
yeah, but so okay, so the only ones that they launched 2 years ago that didn't stay were reality games, which wouldn't have been the same slots for a drama anyway, because
Yeah.
reality CBS does, I mean CBS does reality better than anybody else. But yeah, it's not holding up against any of those.
No, for sure, for sure. And that is a totally fair thing. So remember that, and we'll circle back. So now we're gonna get into some of the ratings because that is a wild ride. So Rotten Tomatoes had gave it just guess what the Rotten Tomatoes score was.
Rotten Tomatoes always does things that are fucking unhinged, and so I'm gonna say they gave it like a 92%.
37.
Oh, thank God.
37%.
Thank God. No, because Rotten Tomatoes is usually I'm like, what the
Rotten
fuck
Tomatoes is
happened?
wild. Yeah. So
Rotten Tomatoes is like, here's the worst show you've ever seen. We gave it 100%, and here's your favorite show that you cry every night that it got
it's
canceled.
12%.
0. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what?
No, I know. Rotten Tomatoes is usually way off the mark, but no, they
Yeah.
nailed it. But it had an average rating of 6.11 out of 10. So
Okay.
fair. Um, I've got a lot of quotes with my ratings. So the best quote that I saw on Rotten Tomatoes said this show was effectively grim, but narratively bland. Clarice is a disturbingly safe, uh, Jesus Christ, safe for, oh my gosh, it's something to do with production that lets down provoking, provoking doesn't matter that lets down both its talented cast and source material. And I was like, that is 100% how I feel. Like
Mm-hmm.
it has the grim feel that you want from Hannibal, but it doesn't do anything with the talent
No.
that they have
No.
because the people they have are talented.
But no, but
They're
I do think
like
I do think that what did they say? They said and
procedural, a disturbingly safe procedural,
disturbingly safe. But then what did they say about narrative? What was the line before that?
narratively bland.
Yes, a narratively bland, disturbingly safe procedural. That is 1,000% correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, well, that tracks everything.
Mm-hmm.
Metacritic gave it 55 out of 100, which
Okay.
again, fine. And then are you familiar with the Hannibal for Dinner books?
Yes. We
Okay,
talked about it. We talked about it after we watched
season one.
season one of Hannibal, yeah.
That makes sense. So the writers of that book were asked to comment on Clarice, basically. And so I'm gonna read
Oh
this to you.
no.
It's not terribly long, but I'd like to read it to you. Um, while the seasons between Graham and Lecter and Hannibal and the encounters between Starling and Lecter and Silence of the Lambs were layered with subtext and pushed the characters to evolve, Clarice's session, so we're talking about the therapist.
Yeah.
Clarice's session seems to simply function as an exposition drop to help bridge Silence of the Lambs to the show. Soon after discussions of her personality and PTSD, she's shuttled to a crime scene that's shot much like a Hannibal crime scene, but without the shot composition and strong writing to characterize Fuller's show. In other words, it tries to echo the foolishly artistic style of Hannibal, but comes off as a generic procedural show with a different filter. The lack of Dr. Lecter and Clarice not only deprives another actor of the opportunity to bring this character to life, it means the show suffers from the lack of a memorable villain, leaving Clarice with no mirror to highlight her weaknesses and strengths as Lecter did. And that is almost like, I feel like word for word what we've been saying all season.
Yeah. And the thing is, I understand that they could use Hannibal. I
Sure.
get that. Fine. But what they did was give us a lot of semi-villainous characters, never followed through on any of them until they got to Niels. And by that point, the show was so poorly written that they were trying to ham feed me
Mm-hmm.
a story. If Niels had existed in the show from day one, it'd be a different story.
If
Because,
Joe had turned out to be the bad guy who we had this secret the whole time, I think that would have made it better.
right, Ruth started antagonistic,
Mm-hmm.
changed which side she was on 85 times. They had the opportunity to have the mirror for Clarice not even be a villain, just be a different character that she could bounce off of with Krendler. And they went so hard into this Krendler emotional story and then cut so much of it. Like the deleted scenes made me realize that Krendler's character was wasted because they A didn't do the story they wanted to do with him.
Yep.
But B, since they were going to end up cutting all of that anyway, you wasted what could have been an actual paternal antagonist. Not a bad guy, not a villain, but the father that she thinks she had, who was a bad, who turned out to be a bad person, whereas Krendler is rough around the edges and angry and holds her to her shit, but is actually a paternal figure in the best way. That's the mirror we needed.
Right.
That would have even just changing that would
Mm-hmm.
have made her trauma story with her dad and the unfolding of that not feel like an afterthought, because Paul
Yeah.
would have been the yin to her dad's yang, and it would have given her a reason to go through that trauma.
Mhm. So here's the problem with Paul that they talk about in the after credits of the film. Uh, Paul was so thrown together because they started him season episode one. That Paul is who they anticipated for the whole season. They finished episode one and were like, "Oh, we really like Michael, and we think he could really be a different character." So they just changed his character for episode two. And we just talked about how they didn't have a pilot. So this isn't like they shot the pilot, pitched it, and then a year later we're like, we're gonna edit his character. Like, no, they were just like on a whim, like we like him, so we want you to like him too, and we're gonna change his character.
I would have liked him if he was an asshole who was secretly a good guy more than this wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Him apologizing and changing how he treated Clarice in episode 3 was the wrong way to get me to like him.
Yeah. Yep. And it's because they didn't have the time and the effort. And like I get that they were thrown into it because who thinks they're getting greenlit after a day? Like you don't think that. So I get that they're thrown into it, but then they lean into being thrown into it and they're like, well, we still want to change this even though we don't need to. Like, and we don't
But
have any character development written out here. Like,
yeah.
there's nothing developed. There's nothing, you have to know where you're going before you start.
That's the
Like,
thing. That's the thing. Every single one of their characters feels like they wrote this entire show one episode at a time.
yeah.
Every single character's arc genuinely seems like they wrote it one episode at a time and picked personality traits that were convenient for that episode. There is no story here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
And
is a crime mystery,
mhm.
and even that, while somehow the only compelling part of the show is the actual crime and what Niels was doing in the Kronos bullshit,
Yeah.
they still managed to make that bad because they wrote it so haphazardly.
Mhm. And you'll see, like, when we start breaking down the episodes a bit, how the writing was so chaotic and so disjointed because they just gave it to different people and like different people had leads on it and it's like they didn't consult with each other.
No.
And it's so and they all have such different backgrounds and it's so wild, but we'll break down the episodes a little bit more in a bit. So we also have um Screen Rant, and here's Screen Rant stance. They want to see
Screen Rant can be very out of pocket with their
yeah.
takes on things.
Screen Rant wants a season 2. And they've said, not necessarily based off of this season, but based off of what it could have been almost.
Fair.
So they say that, like, this season set us up to have a season 2 because you have this 2-week break that Clarice is made to go on. So you come back after this 2-week break. She's refreshed. She's a new person. She's the Clarice she's supposed to be. And then you start with a new iconic villain. You throw in a villain, you get a through line, and you run it.
Here's the problem. Screen Rant, you're absolutely right. That's what we all would like.
Yeah.
However, unless the show somehow becomes a completely different production company, it's not going to happen.
So here's the thing. Amazon bought MGM after this show was out. So now Amazon comes out and Prime picks up Clarice, makes it a Prime Video show, as opposed to a Paramount, a CBS. They want that they don't write shows the same. Prime and CBS are like opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
So this would be a different show if they came out with
it. Yes, I think it would make it a better show. I don't think Amazon will do it. I don't
either.
I don't think Amazon wants to attach themselves to something that had that negative of a reception. If it was like a Firefly, where there was zero negative about it, everyone's dying to have it back, and everyone involved in it wants to come back, and there's a way to do it in a way that fits the story, Amazon could pick that up.
Right.
No one wants this to come back.
I know. And they like, well, they talked about, they were like, because you can't use Hannibal, that really leaves you a lot of creative license. That really leaves you to creating this really incredible show because you aren't tied to the characters. You're not tied to this. I mean, you're tied to Clarice if you're writing about Clarice, but like, you're not tied to who she is because we've only seen bits and pieces of her in the movies, anyways, and in the books. Like, this gives you such a unique perspective on the films that you don't see. And they're like, and they're speculating that Amazon is going to come out with a spin-off as opposed to this show.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If Amazon does anything with the character, it won't be this.
Right. And that's kind of what Screen Rant predicted, is that now that they own these characters, which this was end of 22 that they got them. So like, we might would have heard something by now.
Yeah.
But
well,
maybe
yeah.
not. Sometimes
but also
takes,
we hear that there's a new Stargate series coming once every
Sure.
3 weeks, and it's never true.
Sure. So like, they theoretically could do this, and maybe they're waiting for the Clarice bandwagon to die down, or the negotiations, or maybe CBS is still tied in with a contract somewhere. Like, maybe they're just trying to kind of like let all of that die, or maybe they're waiting to negotiate for the rights for Hannibal, because that's another theory that Screen Rant has, that they might be waiting it out to negotiate to be able to use Hannibal in
And
there.
if they manage to do that and make a Clarice spinoff 2.0 where Hannibal actually could be a character, I would watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if they release anything, I'm gonna watch it because I'm curious. But hopefully I'll like it.
I
That sounds
mean,
like I
I
would
was gonna
like
say, I
it.
was gonna, right, I was gonna say, I don't count hate watching as watching.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so what do we do next with Clarice? How do we fix this? What do you think? Like, what is your way to fix this that you think
So
about?
in my dream world, the show ends. Like it is one season,
Sure.
perfect wrap up storyline. I don't want it to go
Hmm.
farther. I felt like the ending was fine. I didn't like a lot of the show, but
Right.
I did have an investment in some of the characters by the end. And I
Mhm.
kind of liked that at the end they were like, we all survived this, now we're one big happy family.
Yeah.
I had a desire watching these girls run out of Niels's thing. The only thing
That
that would
one
have,
of them would be
if one of them had been Murray's sister, I would have
I thought
forgiven,
that the whole time.
and I would have forgiven every other shitty thing that this show did if Murray's sister had run out of that
I
building.
know.
That's
Oh,
all I wanted. All I wanted.
yes.
I
I
literally have
know.
goosebumps just if that had happened, I would have
Ugh,
forgiven everything else. I would have been like, you know what? I lied. I love the show. Like because his character and his character's arc and what he goes through and how he learns to like be with other people and what he
yeah.
does because of his sister. He's the
I
only character
know.
that doesn't
I know.
he's the only character that doesn't get closure. Like he's the only
Mhm.
character like Krenler, I mean Krenler's closure is that he gets shot and has to like come to terms with who he is.
Right.
Not great.
Like there's still divorce
There's
proceedings,
still the
but
divorce proceedings, whatever. But like, since half of that was cut out of the show
we dropped
anyway,
that storyline anyways. Yeah.
right? So Cranler has to come to terms with who he is after he's shot. Askewal turns himself in for like crossing the line. Um, what? Calpen
Clarice
is. So
finally.
Calpen, I still never remember his
No.
name. He go
Chapati.
Chapati. He
Chapati.
goes back. Chapati. He goes back and talks to his widow's family and like his closure comes earlier than everybody else's, but it
Mhm.
exists. Clarice goes back to see her mom. The only character, and Ruth and Catherine both have their closure. The only character who doesn't get an ending is Murray.
Mhm.
And he's also the only character whose lack of an ending I gave a shit about by the end of the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if one of those girls running out of that building had been his sister, and he had been able to be with her through that trauma, I would have forgiven every other
Yeah.
mistake about the show.
Yeah. I wanted nothing more. I was like, there's not a world where they're gonna do this, but I want nothing more than for them to do this.
Yeah.
And oh God, that I agree. I thought it the whole time.
Mhm. Yeah. The entire time.
um.
I was like
Yeah. I mean, I
watching.
think.
Well, and then the one was like crying, holding on to him, and I was like, her hair's the wrong color. No,
Mhm. I
no.
know. I know.
But
It was so close. So
oh no,
close.
but her hair was dyed, so it could have been her.
Yeah. It wasn't her. She was probably. I think they were all too young,
I know.
but it would have been. It would have been ideal. That would have
I
been the
know.
best ending.
I mean, think about it. If he was like 18 and she was a small child, she would have been in her 40s. So yeah, she would have been too old to still be.
Yeah,
But ugh,
I
I
know.
wouldn't
I
have
think
even
I could.
I wouldn't have even cared if the ages didn't fucking make any sense.
I know.
Would not have cared because I would have gotten that closure.
Yeah. Yeah, I find I have a hard time figuring out how they're gonna move forward with something like this. Because everything is so rushed and everything is so jumbled that it's too hard to like untangle what they've put together to make
Hmm.
into a storyline. I don't think you can remake this in the next 10 years, like or within 10 years of 21. Like if you're trying to do the same thing, it's just not really realistic.
Yeah.
I think you can find a way to be friends with NBC and add Clarice into the Hannibal storyline and have another season of Hannibal. I think that is a reasonable ask.
Yeah.
Um, I think that you can do a Clarice style, but you're gonna have to do like a modernized, almost like a Bates Motel Clarice.
Yes.
I think you could do something like that with Amazon. Although I have mixed feelings about Amazon shows. Some of them are really great. Some of them I'm like, I don't know why you're a TV
I
show.
don't think I've
Okay.
really watched any
Um,
of the Amazon Prime shows.
I watched like a good number of them, and some of them are really good, and some of them are really not, and they all end up being way slower than I wanted them to be
Okay.
across the board. So that is that I think those are our options. Like I don't think this show coming back is an option.
No. And I don't think this show coming back would save this show.
I think it would just make it worse. And I think it would then be a detriment to anyone else trying to do a Clarice or Hannibal or
Yeah.
storyline.
I think
it would be more
if this show
distance.
came back, it would make it even harder for NBC to bring Hannibal back.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. Um, yeah, so we go into going through some of the episodes. They in the very last added special feature, they kind of did a breakdown of of each episode and kind of like why they wrote it the way they did. Um, and I see what they've said, and I disagree. I think they've done it wrong. Um,
I mean, I think they've done it wrong and I haven't even heard what they've said.
right. So I didn't realize Elizabeth Claveter, who wrote for Grey's Anatomy, was one of the EPs, and I missed that somewhere along the way, which was a real bummer for me to find.
Right, because we tried to defend her. We tried to defend her, and
Because we liked her first episode, and then we were
yeah.
like her second, and we were like, maybe this was just a tough episode to write.
Yeah.
But no,
Did
she
we ever
is
did
one
we
of the
ever
main
figure
ones.
out which seasons of Grey's Anatomy she wrote on?
She wrote a lot of them. Just
Yeah.
like different.
Okay.
I don't know exactly which episode she wrote or anything. But her, Ginny Lamette, so Ginny Lamette, Alex Kurtzman kind of are like the top dogs. Uh, Elizabeth Claveter was one of the producers that was like the executive producer. Maya I can't remember her last name, was the plot runner basically. And she was in charge of all of the plot devices, which she did terribly at. Um, but like that's kind of our main team. Tess Leibowitz had a big hand in it. She was like the story editor, but she had a big hand in it. Um, and then we started getting like Kenneth Lynn, and Joya Lawson also kind of became big impacts on the story after like third, fourth episode. Uh, did you find something?
She actually only wrote like 7 episodes of Grey's.
Yeah, she didn't write a lot of episodes of anything she wrote, but that was one of her big credits was Grace.
Yeah. I think I hate all of them.
Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent news.
Oh yeah, ready? The episode that she wrote in season 12 of Grey's Anatomy, she wrote the episode where after April and Jackson run away together. And these are the reviews on IMDb. Worst episode ever. Episode 11 of season 12 of Grey's Anatomy is nothing short of disappointing. This episode felt excessively long and incredibly boring. Next review. Not required. Skip it. Just not needed.
Fair.
Recycled footage, almost no focus on medical procedures. Could skip this aside from the reveal at the end. But let's face it, you can pick that up in the next episode.
100%.
Like
100%. Yeah. So that's a real bummer.
That's a real bummer. A real bummer.
Yeah, so when you look at our team, like Gina Lamette and Alex Kurtzman are basically doing a vanity project here. And you have Elizabeth Claveter, who apparently is the worst writer on Grey's Anatomy. And then you have Tess Leibowitz, who's just really young, but not young enough to be like, I know what's modern and fun, but like too young to have the right experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and Maya looks like she would be on top of things, but she's the plot runner, and obviously she doesn't. That is that is my only solution for that. So they wanted to set it in a dark world because Hannibal's in a dark world. Obviously. Correct. Fine. But then they said Clarice is supposed to be the light. They said she is the sparkle in this dark world.
Clarice is the least sparkly shit about this show.
Right. And then they say that's why they cast Rebecca, who is quite a light
Oh,
when you hear her talk.
Rebecca is wonderful. Everything else that she's been in, I have
Yeah.
liked her, which isn't a lot, but
I don't think I've seen her in anything
I
else.
have seen her in other things, and she's very sweet, and she is sparkly, and
Yeah.
like when I see pictures of her like on red carpets and stuff, she
Yeah.
looks like a wonderful, bubbly human.
Well, she
Uh,
gave interviews for the show and did like we saw her there was a lot of gag reels and she was like
mm,
just dancing and like joking and like she seems like a light. That
yeah,
is not who you want to be Clarice.
no,
You don't want a light for
no, like
Clarice. She's damaged.
Jodie
That's
Foster and Julianne Moore aren't known for being like the
perky.
perky,
Right.
bubbly person on set. Like
They're the damaged, traumatized
they're
people.
very fucking serious actresses. Like this is
Yeah.
not.
It's so wild. And they were like, and Elizabeth Clavender says, she's like, and everything you see of her, like, it's not cynicism, but rather optimism and hope. And I'm like, where? What was she optimistic about? Like,
Was she optimistic when she was coaxing a guy into committing suicide?
right, is that
Like
your hopeful part? Like,
was she optimistic when she was bullying people because she thought there was conspiracy theories, or when she was abandoning like victims because she couldn't handle it?
or
Like,
when she was having panic attacks? Like, which part of this was
you know,
optimistic and not
oh,
cynicism?
I'm sorry. There is one when she's drunk with Granny on the couch. Found it.
That was a light. That was a light of hope.
That was the only light in the
Yeah.
show.
Oh my gosh. I'm like listening. They're saying this seriously. And I'm just listening. I'm like, I don't know that we're watching the same show. You made it. You should know that's not true. Like, it's wild.
But again, it's these people are delusional.
Hmm.
It's genuinely people who think that you can make an agenda that heavy-handed in like all entertainment is political. No one is
Right.
saying that it's not. But when your politics are your story, it's not good. That's why so many people stopped watching Grey's Anatomy during COVID.
Hmm.
Because all of the other medical shows addressed COVID and then moved on. Grey's Anatomy was like, we want to live in the real world. We're gonna have an entire season of nothing but people in
Yeah.
fucking incubator, like ICU, like ventilation rooms, crying because they can't see their family. Nobody wants to watch that. We don't want to feel that. We're watching your show to not feel that because that's our
Right.
real life.
Right.
When your message is so prominent that I can't tell what the story is, just what you want me to believe, you're
Yeah.
not a good writer.
Yeah. And Jenny Lavette talks about that, how she's like, we wrote this show because we want to make sure we're like sending out the right message. And she's like, and people say that they don't want to write about like messages, and that's fine. That's their show. This is my show. And I was like,
Well,
okay,
and
can
your
you
show
write a
is
message
bad.
without punching you in the face?
Yeah,
Like those are different things.
like, listen, sometimes, like, the Hunger Games.
Sure.
Anybody who read the Hunger Games and didn't think that that was political was an idiot.
Yeah, for sure.
However, however, it was a compelling story. It was a fictional world with fictional bad guys that had
Hmm.
correlations to real life bad guys that you had to read to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't say, hey, we think capitalism is evil, fuck your country.
Right. Right. Which is what this show does. And like,
Correct.
and it truly feels like all of these people are creating a vanity project. Because then we get to Kenneth Lynn, who writes on a lot of stuff, and he comes in. Him and I think it was Jenny Lamette both come from a theater background, and they used to write like plays and stuff, and now they're writing TV, and
Listen,
so it's a little more
I'm a
theatrical.
trained theater performer. I love theater. Theater theater is sometimes really overwhelmingly aggressive with their messages in a
Yeah,
way that is disconcerting.
yeah,
And
and
there's a place for it. There is a
mhm,
place for it. Um, like so Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht were like super famous playwrights
mhm,
in Germany, and like Brecht believed like specifically that theater was designed to make the comfortable uncomfortable.
right. And there are plenty of playwrights that
And there
like
are plenty of playwrights
lean
who do
into
that.
that.
There are plenty of
Yeah.
playwrights who lean into that. And the thing is, theater in the time when playwrights wrote for that, theater was a place where you look at like the way the globe is situated and like the way the theater is set, and the poor people are here on the floor, part of your show. The rich people are all in booths looking down on you. And you have the opportunity to say, I'm looking at this class divide and I'm pointing it out. And this is a problem. Television. Everyone who's watching television, whether they are rich, poor, white, black, they're all watching television on a TV, on their couch, at their house, from the same position. So you no longer get to be aggressively divisive in the same way as theater because you are not coming at it at a division like that. Like
Yeah.
it's no it's we're television unites us in a way that like that nothing ever in the history of the world has. Like the way that everyone of every gender, size, age, creed, color can watch the same TV shows and have something to talk about because we all have TVs. Even people who have no money have TVs. Like that's the world we live in right now. So TV is the unifying thing. So to treat it with the same lens as the divisive element of traditional theater of the like, oh, there's a word for it. What is that? Ames, my theater professor would be so mad that I can't think of this word. Um, what is it? Um, um,
I'm
the
not
theater,
exactly sure
no,
what you're
alienation,
referencing.
alienation.
Sure.
There's the word is wer Fremdelgänzigkeit, but the theater
Alienation it is.
yeah, the theater of alienation, like the idea of pushing someone away to isolate them and give them a lesson,
Right.
is a specific style of theater. And it's an uncomfortable style of theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very poignant style of theater. However, prime time cable TV on a Tuesday night isn't going to get you the same effect
No.
as that.
And not in this style of show, anyways.
Right.
Like, this isn't what that is for.
No.
Yeah, so here's my next comment that you're gonna 100% agree with. So Kenneth Flynn is talking about how they diverted from the first episode, as I've mentioned. And they decided to make it strictly about character growth, which they set up in episode 2.
No, the fuck they did not. What character?
I know. And then they really intended a parallel between Keith Wellig and Escobar. That was
Who?
supposed to be their really strong. Keith Wellig, the guy who set up the suicides in the houses in episode 3 that was then killed in the police station. And Elizabeth Clavener says that Escobar's really the heart of the show.
No.
Because he's
No.
a really unique character that has room to grow because he's not part of Thomas Harris's world.
No, Murray is the heart of the show because he's the only character that you realize has a heart.
And also, over half of these characters aren't in Thomas Harris novels.
No, who is? Who is?
Well, Clarice,
Krenler, and the AG, and Catherine.
AG and Catherine. There was a couple more, but it was like not our main crew. Like
the entire FBI team, like the entire VICAP team, with the exception of Krenler and Clarice, are unique, original characters, and you want to know why? Okay, I'm about to become an asshole for a second. Do you want to know why they said that Escobar was the character who had the most room to grow? Because he's in the military and they're fucking assholes who don't like the military because it's not part of their woke agenda. Because Murray did nothing wrong. He's a sweet old man who's a little cranky. Cal Penn, well, you know, his wife died of cancer. He couldn't possibly have room to grow. He's already perfect. But that asshole sniper who's part of the fucking military and hates us all because fuck the military, he has room to grow. These son of a bitch, terrible ass fucking writers.
This is only the beginning. I'm so excited. Um,
This is gonna be the most explicit episode we've ever done because I can't help it. I'm so angry at these people.
well, the thing is that it goes so off the rails because it's like, why did you say things you know aren't true? Like, you know this isn't what happened. Like, or unless you're just in that much of your own bubble
Yes,
that
a
like you can't see
hundred.
outside of your four walls. Like,
Well,
it's so
they
wild.
also thought Waco had already happened, so
That's true.
they didn't research anything.
Yeah, it's so.
They
So then we
wanted
get
to tell a story
sleepers.
about the real world and forgot that the world existed.
Right. Then they forgot how the real world worked. Yeah.
Jesus.
So we have Tess Leibowitz, our story editor, who's on all the episodes. She talks about really liking the fifth episode. That's one of her favorites. This is the one where we have dinner at the AG's house with Catherine
Okay,
and
to be fair,
Clarice.
I also liked that episode.
And she says, so this is one that I was like, I understand this. I don't know that you fully got your point across, but you more than didn't. And she said that it was showing how the past, it's always oh no, sorry, this is not the dinner episode. This is
Oh,
the episode where she's in the coma ward and she's paralyzed. And this did make sense. She says that throughout all of Clarice, so like Jodie Foster, Julianne Moore, all of these, the way that she's gotten out of everything is by using her mind. She's been able to like use her mind, be smart, and work her way out.
okay.
And now that she's here and she's only able to rely on her mind and she can't really get out still, and she's got to rely on more than just her mind because she needs to rely on other people and she needs to rely on this like
Okay.
situation. And I was
Okay.
like, this I get behind.
No,
This I can believe
that is
in.
a totally valid analysis, and if that had then been continued and there had
Carried
been
on.
some
Yeah.
kind of recognition of the fact that she needed her team, instead of moving on to what the two episodes later where she aggressively attacks Escobar because he won't talk about his girlfriend, like
Mhm.
the the way that this episode ended, or was this one where she was found, where they found her in the ward?
This is the where she got out.
Yeah, this is the one where she got out,
Hmm.
gets out of the ward.
Hmm.
So the way that she like has to rely on it, and Mac and Krenler and Escobar are there for her, and it like changes the dynamic in the team. Okay, then lean into that. Lean
Right.
into that. That was we like I said, up until episode 5, we were in it with the show.
Yeah.
We struggled with some of the writing, but
Sure.
we were attempting. We were seeing
Our
where they
plot
were
was
going.
okay.
Our plot was okay. We were going. We were letting them lead us down this road.
Hmm.
Lean into it.
And like that's the thing is like this show should have been about Clarice's transformation
Mhm.
from trauma to not, but also in a healthy way and also in a like showing how her mind was still strong even when she was weak. And that is
Yes.
what this episode was about. And then that's it.
Right.
um,
Right.
but we do have the dinner episode was next, and this is where they talk about seeing the three. This also a good idea. They had three different people who had three different types of trauma and reacted to trauma in different ways.
Yes.
And I was like, that's great. You're
No,
showing a range here.
The dinner episode was one of my favorites. It was one of the only ones that I really got what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was I remember we talked about that one a lot with the AG and her reaction, how we really
Yes.
saw her after Cat Talk.
Yeah.
Um,
That was the only episode where I felt like I knew who all three of those women were supposed to be.
right. Yeah. So then we also meet the new therapist, Lee. And you remember how you were like, why does she exist? This makes no sense. Like the why she's the way she is. So she's based off of Kenneth Flynn's wife, who's a social worker and is Chinese and works in the Chinese
So what you're saying is
facilities in
this
Manhattan.
man self-inserted his wife and then let her get aggressively abused about being adopted by white people? What a
Yeah.
sick fuck. If Dan ever did some shit like that to me, divorce.
Yeah, I told you this. Well, he did it because the social workers are the strongest people, and she's a social worker who works in the Chinese facilities in Manhattan. And so he really wanted to like document that in this show.
By bullying his wife.
Hmm.
Divorce.
I'm telling you, vanity project. It's just a vanity project for all of
Divorce.
them.
I
Um,
would have Joe be my divorce lawyer. That's how divorced this man's gonna be.
well, he's dead, so that's a problem. But that's fine, I guess. So then we get
Well,
to
yeah,
episode.
that's how my husband's gonna be too.
That's true. So I guess he can be a ghost attorney. Um, so then we get to episode 7, and this is the episode with the two boys who had the parallels of being found in the wall. Um,
Oh,
this whole episode existed so that we could learn about Map's background and really get to know her as a character.
yeah. This episode, I didn't give a shit about Matt's background. I only cared because I found out about Murray's background.
Yeah, we just
Because
learned where she lived. We didn't even learn she grew up, really. Like,
no, we learned that
this
she
is,
lived. We learned that she lived in the African American neighborhood that the police don't take seriously. I'm gonna be honest. In DC, in an African American neighborhood in the 80s,
yeah. I mean, it's not ideal, and we can get a sense of it, but it doesn't build her character. It doesn't
no.
build her, like, we don't know about her family, really. We don't,
I could have already told you that. If I'd known she grew up in DC and she was that jaded, well, I could have told you that already.
right. So this didn't do anything it said it did, this episode.
No.
Um,
This episode, I liked it because it was a story of the week crime that was actually a good story in police procedural, and I got to find out why Murray is a cranky old man.
right. That is
Done.
literally the important
So,
part.
honestly, my favorite episode of the season. Map, bottom of the list for me.
Yeah, yeah. And then they don't care about the rest of the season.
Well,
They don't give you
clearly because I
reasons for that.
watched the rest of the season and no one cared when they made
Yeah.
it.
So now I have a little bit more background, a little behind the scenes
Oh my
that
God.
it's not plot related necessarily. Um, so they really apparently had the hardest time casting Clarice. Rebecca was the last person auditioned for the show, and she got it, and they were like, there were other good people. It wasn't that we had bad people like audition, but they were like, we literally searched across like international and just couldn't find the right person until we saw Rebecca, and then we knew she was the one because she lit up a room. And I was like, I do not think you understand the character you're writing. But
So,
that's fine.
you know how people, like, there's that joke online that's like, if I die and at my funeral they say I lit up a room, they're lying.
Yeah,
Um, these people are also lying.
absolutely. And like the thing is, like Jenny Lumet, she said she spoke with Thomas Harris about everything before she wrote it.
I'm
Like,
so sorry. Did he greenlight this? Did he say that that was okay? Because
so we've never we've never heard that. That has not been stated. She's just said that she spoke with him. We did not hear if he greenlit it. And as far as we know,
she just
Thomas Harris
said
probably did.
she just said that she spoke with him. So
Yeah,
basically she said, I'm gonna write the show. What do you think? And he said, get the fuck out of my house, lady.
probably because
And then she wrote the show
he didn't watch
anyway.
a lot of this stuff. Like he watched like one or two things that were Hannibal related, but he hasn't really watched a lot of things. Like
No, he
he
doesn't.
probably didn't watch this.
No. I mean,
Um,
listen, and to be honest, by the end of the Hannibal saga existing in film and TV, he was so over it, he wrote Hannibal Rising.
yeah,
Clearly, he doesn't give a
because
shit what happens to his characters.
absolutely,
He clearly is so over our Hannibal hype that he wrote
I
Hannibal
know.
Rising.
Yeah, no, he's super over the hype. Bless
So
his heart.
you know what? He could have said, "Great, Jenny, 100%. This is the best thing I've ever heard. Put it down." He would have been like drunk or have snorted a line of coke before he said it, but like he probably said it.
I can't imagine he reviewed anything. He like reading the books and reading some of the interviews with him. He's just like, I don't want to know what you've done with my story for the most part. Like anyone who's worked on it, who has the rights, he's like, I don't need to know more. I know what I know, and that's good enough for me.
We're
Like
good.
he's not invested in any of it. Um, so she also said, or Maya, the plot runner, said she also wanted to make a big focus on how this was not Silence of the Lambs. This is a year later, even though it's 3 years later, and then sometimes 2 years later, because who knows? They've said all of those things in this in this special features. Um, and she says that like I want to make sure she doesn't end up in a basement unless it's like an emotional basement.
I almost just shut my computer and walked away from you. I want her to be in an emotional basement. I want you to be emotionally stabbed in the fucking face.
This is I'm watching this and I'm just going and reminders. I slept 2.5 hours last night. I was up at 5:30 watching this stuff. I'm like,
If I had watched this after work, no, we wouldn't be recording this podcast right now. I will tell you right now. Well, A, because I still wouldn't be done because I would have broken
sure.
Dan's PlayStation and had to go and replace it.
Oh, it was almost 2 hours worth of like special features. Like it was like an
No.
hour and a half of special
Yeah,
features.
but like 15 minutes in, I would have
Mhm.
smashed the PlayStation 5 and then had to go find another one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
For
also
sure.
called the library and apologized for ruining their DVD.
It's okay, they're $10 on Amazon. Just get them a new one. Oh man, yeah, it's a wild time. So then we talk about the camera, like the shooting, the angles and whatnot, and how this goes. And their very well thought out explanation of how cameras work is they really wanted to make sure they had like broad areas to shoot in because they wanted to do really close shooting for when she was in a panic so you could see the emotion. But then they wanted to be able to really back out when they weren't doing
So
that.
they wanted to make a TV show.
That is literally how they explained it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't even mention an ankle.
Why are you torturing me? You just telling me this is making me break out in hives.
Ah, it was the best. I will tell you, this is nice though. You'll like this. This you'll actually like.
Will I?
Yes, it's Rebecca's one of the things she talks about that I thought was actually really interesting. She says, when like asked about like her as Clarice versus like everyone else, Jodie Foster and Julianne Moore. She's like, the thing is, like, we all did Clarice really different. And like she's already come out and said like she based her like voice off of Jodie Foster's. But they told her that her vocals needed to be or like her voice needed to be Appalachian. And she's like, that's a region. How do you make that sound? And then they realized that there were like actual Appalachian like videos where you could go and she would watch YouTube and learn how to say it. But she was like, we all do it so differently. And she's like,
Mhm.
and I think that's really how it's supposed to be. Like one of us can't like I can't be better than Jodie. I can't be better than Julianne Moore. Like it just is what it is. She was like, it's like we're all in a band together. We're just all playing different instruments. Like we're playing the same song on different instruments. I was like, oh, I like that. That's the best way I've heard
Yeah,
like playing the
that
same character to
yeah,
like
I that's nice. I don't hate that.
see I told you that was a nice thing. I
Yeah.
I really liked when Rebecca spoke about things because that's kind of the more the level she took it. She didn't really talk about plot much.
Well, because that wasn't her job. Her job was to
Right.
read her sides and do her scenes and care about the character enough to make us care about the character. And I think she
Right.
did that. Like, I don't think I like I said, I don't think her acting was bad. I don't think anybody's acting was bad. I think they had shit to work with though.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Um that first scene with the therapist that was off the wall, the guy therapist.
Oh yeah.
Apparently they shot that scene 100 times because they really needed to get it right.
But they didn't because they put it in the TV show.
Right. It was like I would have never guessed that you spent 100 takes. Like she said they did like 100 takes on it. And she's like, there's so much more we could have dug into. And I was like, what do you mean?
This is
I
not a
don't
reality show about
right.
like therapy.
And like even the way like when Alex and Jenny called her to tell her that she got the role, she answered the phone and they were like, hello, Clarice. And that's how they told her she got the role. And I'm like, even that is such a like a
Ew.
why are you writing? You were not the one to write the show. Like it's all a joke to you. It's all a vanity
I
project. You don't
hate
care about the characters. You don't
I
care about the
hate
storyline.
them so
And I
much. I
just
hate them.
Yeah.
If
And
we
like,
ever have to watch anything else ever written by any, like now I don't want to watch Star Trek anymore. Like
oh, I know, I'm sorry.
Strange New Worlds is coming back, and Jan and I are so excited, and I genuinely don't think I can watch it because I hate them so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and like some of the characters, like you look at Jen Richards, who plays Shoya Lawson. She like that one of the whole special features was about basically diversity in the show and how they tried to represent different types of characters. And she did give a really like if you want to hear about like transphobia in Hollywood, she did a really good explanation of it and talked about how
I
like
and I
um in the special features, she was like, Buffalo Bill caused a lot of problems for the trans world. And like logically that makes sense. I just didn't because I'm not trans, I didn't like notice it as much. And she's like, so one of the things we wanted to do with this show was to reframe it that not all trans people are Buffalo Bill and not like that he's not really what a trans person is. And she like was really advocating for like trans people playing trans roles. And she's like, as like I think at some point anyone can play any role. She's like, there may be a day that a straight white cis woman plays a trans woman better than a trans woman does. She was like, but right now we need to get representation. So that was really well done. And like the credits after. So if you want to hear more about that, that was actually really interesting to listen
Okay,
to
no,
and
that's
hear
fine.
about.
And there's the thing. Like I said, my problem isn't with the advocating, it's
Yeah.
with the sacrificing plot for
Mm-hmm.
advocating. Um
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with Ardelia.
no, and you guys know if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, I've gone on like massive diatribes about Chinese actors being forced to play Korean roles because people don't know the difference between different Asians. Like I'm all for people
Right.
playing, and there is something to be said about like a character being a character, and like we shouldn't relegate like only gay actors can play gay characters or only straight actors
Mm-hmm.
can play straight. Like there are some of the most wonderful portrayals of characters. Like when you think about gay characters on TV, Modern Family is one of the top things that comes to your
100%.
mind. Not both of those men are not gay.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
like I'm not, there's something to be said for good acting, point blank, period.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you are a marginalized group and you only get stereotypical representation, the least you can do is let me play my own stereotype.
Right. And that's 100% what she's saying. And she's like, she said she has not gotten some roles because she didn't seem trans enough. And she's like, I'm literally trans. Like, I'm literally living the life.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that I'm not that because this is what trans is. And like that, so like that whole section was really about diversity in
And
like
here's the
film
thing,
and stuff.
doing that as part of a press tour, doing that as a bonus feature,
Hmm.
doing that at a Comic-Con about what it was like to be on the show,
Yeah.
that's fine. Doing it as the dialogue of the episode is
Right.
awkward.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is like I want that's why I was like, I want you to go and just watch the one special feature about diversity, hear what they say, really get their feelings, have like I feel Jen Richards being like felt as an actor and like really appreciated and like really advocating for trans roles. Like do that and then just like put the show somewhere else.
Right.
Like that is the one thing that I was like watching it this morning and I was like, wow, I was like this is really like interesting. And like a lot of it I know about like I've I used to do like Unseen Artist podcasts and we talked a lot about diversity in theater and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so like this isn't a new topic to me.
Yeah.
But sometimes just hearing from like different perspectives and hearing it in a different way is like
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
So I did think that was a really nice special feature section. I think it is unrelated to the show. I think
Correct.
it's just a nice addition that people should hear
Yeah.
because people should hear it. Um, yeah, the only other thing I have for you is I have a fun fact I want to read. You may already know this. I feel like where did I put my phone? There it is. I may have already known this, but honestly, I'm like so out of whack that who's to say anymore. So VICAP stands for the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. And it's actually a real program that keeps up with serial killers, basically, around the
Okay.
country. I didn't know that, I don't think. So I'm reading you what it is. It's an ever-growing and extensive database of unsolved serial murders across the country. The inspiration for the program came from an LAPD homicide investigator named Pierce Brooks, who during the 1970s was hunting through major city newspapers to public library for articles on murders similar to the ones he was investigating. He thought, what if this information was contained in a searchable system? He pitched his idea to the Department of Justice, and in the summer of 1985, Brooks became VICAP's first program manager. The program only works if members of law enforcement community care enough to input the data into the system. So this is my PSA for the world. Law enforcement officers, enter your serial killers into VICAP because
Yeah.
we got some active ones. We have a New England serial killer, we have an Austin serial killer, we may or may not have a Louisiana one who's so feel like we always do here. But
Mm.
like
Yeah.
I had heard of VICAP, but I thought VICAP was just like a team like we had in the show. That's
Yeah.
what I thought VICAP was. I didn't realize it was an actual system that like program that kept up with like serial killers and
I
stuff
think
too.
I only knew that because of the Up and Vanished podcast.
Mm,
Because when they were, I haven't finished it, just so you know,
I
but
haven't listened to it.
when Graham Lindsay was meeting with the people in Georgia to try to find the girl, um, they they were looking through BICAP like databases for things about the case. So that's the only reason I knew that it was a database.
Gotcha, gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, there's tons of databases out there, and they're not utilized nearly enough.
Mm.
And I mean, there's plenty of others that like you could get involved in as people. There's the Jane Doe network that a lot of people are involved in. There's a lot of unsolved cold cases that have like investigative
Yeah.
groups on Facebook.
Do you know what they have now? This is only sort of, I mean, it's related to like databases and information and like reporting, but there is a project called the Sandy Hook Project that is a
Hmm.
database specifically like that schools can purchase and have like linked to their online programs where kids can anonymously report like things that concern them at school.
Oh, that's so nice. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, we had just got trained in it, like, and we had to train the kids on how to use it and everything. But yeah, so like
Oh,
if
I
a kid
love
is
that.
saying threatening things at school, like you can anonymously like report the information and the like
Hmm.
counselors will be able to like address it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So
Um, yep. So the end of I wanted to end on like a lighter murder, lighter note. I wanted to
yeah,
end on
like
a better
school
note.
shootings and murder are like
Right.
super light notes. But no, but the light note is the fact that like obviously the world is sucks and things aren't getting better, but like you can be actively a part of trying to make it better, even just as
Yeah.
like being a person who knows
And
nothing.
there are people that are actively putting together programs to help solve
Yeah.
cold cases, to help catch serial killers, to help protect kids in schools. Like there are tons of things out there that like we may like I've heard of the Jane Doe project. I've heard of so many of these projects, but I hadn't heard of VACAP. And
Yeah.
I mean obviously that's not for me, it's for law enforcement to keep together. But
Right.
it's nice to know still that that's like actively happening and people
Yeah.
are like making an effort. So and I thought that was very interesting that the team was VICAP and it was based on that.
Yeah.
I found that to be an interesting idea that I wouldn't
Yeah.
have thought of. So um, that is the thing I like about this show. That is the one thing. No, but yeah. So final thoughts on Clarice.
Um
I mean, I know we've done like a super deep dive on like the production team and the characters and the cast
And
and
yeah, no, but I think this was a really good wrap up because we talked a lot about like the why and the how, and I think sometimes I'm just so angry about the what during the episodes that it's hard to like talk about the why and the how, and so like this was
yeah,
really nice to do that. I'm still angry. I still don't like
sure,
it. But now I know who to direct my anger at. And
absolutely.
unfortunately, it is going to ruin my life because now I will not be watching season 3 of Strange New Worlds.
Oh, that is
And
so. I'm so sorry for your life. I may or may not watch Now You See Me Go. So like, I'm with you. I will say if you still have the DVD, watch it today. If you
yeah.
still have the DVD, go watch The Guy Girl. It's like 4 minutes long, and
Okay.
it makes
I
you fall
almost
in love with Luca.
when I started to like stop like when I started the thing and then I didn't want to keep watching it, I went almost watched the gag reel just because I was like, that will at least be interesting.
Yeah. Rebecca and Luca are hilarious in it. They are clearly besties, and it's so funny. And you'll fall in love with Luca. Yeah, Olivier, the guy who plays basketball. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say his last name, but it's really fun. So if you did happen to get the DVD, because that's the only way you can watch the show, so I hope
Yeah.
you got the DVD. Go watch The Guy Girl, and that's a good way to wrap up your Clarice watch. And what do
No,
you have?
sorry. I just looked at the Strange New Worlds season 3, and Jenny and Alex are listed as created by, not as part of the writing team.
They got kicked off because they're working on vanity projects. It's like lunatics. I
Yeah,
don't like them.
no, they're listed. Hold on, let me see, because last season was great and I loved it. And so let me look at where
Huh.
writers it
Also,
lists.
other good news. Go ahead. Sorry.
Nope. Oh, nope. Just created by. They're listed just as created by in season 2 and 3.
See, we kick Brian Fuller off all these shows. We should be kicking Jenny Lumet and Alex Kurtzman off all these shows. I'm just saying, justice for Brian
Yeah.
Fuller.
Justice for Brandon Fuller. Justice for Star Trek.
Justice for Star Trek, justice for Brian Fuller. Also, OKC won the NBA Finals, so Pacers lost. I didn't realize till afterwards Pacers have never won the NBA Finals, but
But you
OKC
were
hasn't won since 1979, and they were in Seattle at the time. So, like,
and you were
this
really
team
mad at
hasn't
the
won.
Pacers
And I
for.
was really mad. But also Halliburton tore his AC or tore his like ACL or something and was out for the game too, and I was mad at him. So like I kind of feel bad for being so mad at this team, but my team won by
I
like
was
20
talking
points.
about how
So
you were mad at the Pacers because they beat the Knicks, and Doug goes, I didn't know Courtney watched basketball. And I go, you don't know a lot about Courtney.
yeah,
Because you,
bro.
I was like, because you don't listen to our fucking podcast.
Yeah, Doug, I like basketball. Actually, I just really like sports, and I need to
That's what
throw
I said. I
myself
said
into
she just
something that
loved. I was like, she just
brings me
loves all
joy.
sports.
I do. I do. I'm really throwing myself behind the Royals for baseball this year. That's gonna be my baseball team. I know you hate Kansas City, but like
No,
I'm not going for their football team. I'm going for their baseball team.
it's fine.
Although I might
Um,
go for the Giants now. They have Rafael Devers. I feel weird picking between the Yankees and the Red Sox, so I've just avoided them
oh, I don't like
entirely.
either of them either. I
So
like I like the Guardians forever. That's my
where are they
team.
at?
Cleveland.
I'll
Um,
be sure to like start Cleveland.
um, but I'm also, I know they won last year, and I don't like to go for I like to go for underdogs usually, but I really love Shone.
Otaki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. He's with the Dodgers though, right?
yeah. Like that's what I said. I don't really love that I'm rooting for the Dodgers, but I just love him and his career.
Yeah.
And so as long as he's with the Dodgers, I'm gonna kind of be a little bit invested in them.
Well, the Royals have such a young team and they're
Mm,
like up and coming, and so they're not doing great, but like they have this like spirit behind them that they've
yeah.
always had. So I'm like, they're keeping hope alive, and they're gonna
Yeah.
be good one day. So, but Rafael Devers just went to the Giants, so I might watch them too. Um, because he's really good, but he played for Boston, but now he doesn't. So anyway, so that's our levity. That's our show. That is Clarice. We've made it through, and I feel like we came out okay on the other side, even though it was a
Yeah.
rough ride.
Yeah.
But it's okay because next week we are watching Hannibal, and then we will do the DNA awards, and we might remember. Yes,
For our viewers and mostly for me, where are we watching Hannibal?
I believe it is on. I believe they just added it on HBO Max, but I think it's also on something else. Let me see. Nope, that's the TV show. Hannibal
Oh, it does
movie.
say Max. Oh,
Yeah, Max. It says Hulu and Sling and Amazon, but I think it's Max is where we're watching it. I think it's also on Pluto TV. It doesn't say that on here, but I think I saw it on there recently. Or Tubi or Pluto TV. One of the free sites I think also has it.
okay.
But I did just see they just added it to Max like 2 weeks ago. When I was trying to watch the Knicks game that I didn't have enough of an upgrade for. Um, so yeah, so we'll watch Hannibal on Max. And then the next week we'll be back to do the DNA awards for the Hannibal universe. Hopefully we remember who Hannibal is by the time we record it.
God, that's gonna be crazy.
I know it's gonna be really bonkers. So we are hardcore into fall by the time this comes out. We're early mid-August, and uh yeah, I'm like a week away from taking my last exam. My ethics exam is August 20th, so
Mm,
we'll see.
yeah.
But that's who we are now. And
Yeah.
if you want to talk to us about Hannibal now that we've seen it all, by the time we've seen the movie too, so we're
Mhm.
open. You can start recommending suggestions for our next show. I'm sure I'll throw some out there for you to review as well. We do have American Horror Story season 3 in the interim coming. It's a dope when Stevie Nicks is in it.
Mhm.
Stay tuned. And if you want to talk to us about literally any of that, email us deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me at CECloud13.
You can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_supers.
And we'll see you for the movie.
Bye.
Bye.